Okay, so without further ado, let's start with the first presentation. And I'm happy to have with us today Ali Arfa from EUPD Research, who will provide us an overview on global market developments in residential and C&I solar and battery applications, um, though the focus will mostly be on Europe. Ali, the floor is yours.
Hi, Michael. Hello, everybody. Michael, first question. Can I share my screen now? Or, yeah, I think.
Yes, you should.
Good. Okay, second question. Can you see my screen?
Uh, it says that you started screen sharing, and it might take a few seconds. I'm not yet seeing it, but yeah, now it's there.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Great. Thank you. Thank you, Michael, for the introduction, and thank you for the invite, Michael and TaiyangNews. So, my name is Ali. I'm Senior Data Manager at EUPD Research. Today, I will be talking about global, as Michael said, mainly European market developments in residential solar battery applications. Before I start my presentation, I just wanted to, this is not, yeah. For those who do not know EUPD Research, a very brief introduction on EUPD Research, the company I am working for. We are a company based in Bonn, Germany. We've been active in the market research for 25 years now. There are three main pillars for the work we do. The first one is, of course, market intelligence in storage, PV, um, installer research, heat pump research. The product or the main database that I am responsible for is the Global Energy Transition Matrix. We're also active in the market certifications and improvements, as you can see, joint forces for solar visa step, sustainability, and so on and so forth. Now, during the next 15 to 20 minutes that I have, I will give you some market data, global key markets, China, India, Brazil, US, European PV markets as well. I will also give you some general data on the European storage market. Then I will dig a little deeper in the European installer monitor, one of our flagship projects or surveys that we do, and give you some insights about what installers in the residential and C&I segments think in the three markets of Germany, France, and Poland. And then I will conclude my presentation. So market data first things first. What's been going on since 2022 all the way to 2024 and of course 2025. As you all know, with regard to the new PV installations in gigawatt DC, you see that China has done a magnificent job last year. The big lion's share of all the installations were in China, then the USA, India, Brazil, and then the main European markets, well, Japan, of course, there, but the main European markets were there, Germany, Italy, France, and the rest of Europe. Now, as Michael also mentioned, and you can see that in the whole global PV installations, you see that the 2025 PV installations are having a decline. Of course, market is different. I think the main reason here is the Chinese PV deployment PV fleets that will be decreasing drastically in the second half of the year. I think you all know that. In the US, our estimation is that we are going to have a little bit of a pull forward effect in the until the end of 2025. Of course, because of the big beautiful bill, the residential segment is estimated to have a little bit of a pull, and of course, a little bit of a pull forward effect in the utility segment. The case of Germany and Italy is a little different. In Germany, in the first half of 2025, they installed only 7.1 gigawatt, and the forecast for the entire 2025 is 2-3 gigawatts less than the previous year, which was 17.1. In Italy, the same. Italy, last year we installed 6.7 gigawatt. This year, it's going to be around 6 gigawatt. So all in all, this graph, of course, shows the decline here. The 2-year comparison is also the evidence to that. As you can see, again, the USA, it's a little bit increasing, India as well, Brazil, more or less the same. Germany declining, Italy declining. France was an exception. With regard to PV, in the first 2 quarters or the first half of the 2025, there's been an increase in the installations, mostly in the C&I segment, and that's also very interesting in the case of France. And all in all, the rest of Europe is also going to have a slight increase, but it's the rest of Europe, as I said, because all these top markets, most of the top markets like Germany and Poland and Spain, they're going to have declines. The European PV installation, as Michael also mentioned, that is going to be optimistically installing like last year or a little less. Now, with regard to the installations segment-wise, the global PV, you see it's more or less a utility environment. Again, it's because all these giant markets like China, US, India are the utility environment. And you see C&I is also still big in the residential. But what I wanted to mention is that the European PV environment is different. It's more diversified. The C&I is strong, utility is strong, but you know that it's been traditionally a residential market, and I'll be elaborating further on that in my next slides. In the case of storage, you see here on this graph, a 2-year comparison, 2023 and 4. 2025, we had some data. I didn't add it here because the data was not finalized, but I will explain it here a little bit. As you can see here, of course, Germany, Italy, and the UK have been the usual suspects in the storage installations. Germany, Italy, traditionally residential storage markets. You can see the around 6 to 7 gigawatt hour of installations. Italy as well. You see that huge jump in Italy last year, and that's because of course, of the utility, the grid scale storage installations that have been installed. And you see all the rest of those markets that are there and emerging. Czech Republic, extremely important. Sweden is now increasing, Belgium, and the rest of the markets. Now, as I said before, you can see the segmental share of storage installations in Europe. You see that in 2023, from 24% utility, now we have 36%. And as I'm sure you all know, in 2025, the share of the grid scale storage installations is going to jump even further, right? In almost all the European markets that we've been monitoring, the utility is huge. C&I is also important, residential important. The jump in utility does not mean that the CNI and residential storage are going to lose their significance. Of course, it's for obvious reasons. We need more grid flexibility, need more arbitrage, we need more support for against this negative electricity prices and so on and so forth. Okay, now with this or against this background, I'd like to give you some insights about InstallerMonitor. Now, for those who do not know InstallerMonitor, it's a Europe-wide survey. And by Europe-wide, I mean the top 13 European markets, which form plus 80% of new PV and storage installations with regard to volume, right? So we basically do CATIs, telephone-assisted interviews to the sample group and of installers in all these markets. And the share of the installers you can see here, right? There are both CNI installers and residential installers. As you can see on these pie charts, of course, the number of companies is the same more or less, but the volume of installations in the CNI installers is a lot bigger than the residential installers for obvious reasons. Okay, but before I go to the next slide, I would like to tell you that here is about Germany. Then I will jump into France installers and then finish off with Poland. So now, one important development, again, in line with what we are going to talk about today, is that you see the further technologies that the German installers are putting in their portfolio are charging solutions, smart homes, and heat pumps. Please note that this 93% is an increase compared to the previous year, right? So it's smart home and heat pumps. Now, in a section of the survey, we asked installers, is there anything you would like to say to the manufacturers? And you see this 10% on top, improved technical assistance and after-sales support. This is extremely important for the installers here in Germany. And if you live in Germany, you know why. But if you see those red marks or the part that I marked in or circumscribed, you have enhanced software systems and integration and focus on innovation, technical advancement, and efficiency. Again, one of the top reasons mentioned from the German installers. Now, you see here with regard to compatibility, standardization, and modularity, the first quotation is really interesting. It says electricity and heat generation are increasingly merging, and care should be taken to create interfaces that enable joint and external control, right? You see there, it says currently everybody is doing their own thing. So apparently this is an extremely important topic for the installers, right? And you see the next part that I marked red, the integration of the third-party products. And this totally makes sense, right? This is installers' concern as well. So we already have all these retrofit buildings who want to install all the other products. New products are coming in, different brands. But when it comes to, walking the walk, meaning installations, the installers have problems with regard to interoperability of this product, which could slow down the rollout of both PV and storage in the residential and CNI. And last but not least, in Germany, you see that some installers mentioned the modules are too big. They're wishing for the modules that are smaller. Of course, it's because of all sorts of problems that they might face when installing, even back problems and so on and so forth. So this was important. And then France, in the case of France, you see 50-50 installers, residential and CNI, 72% of the CNI with regard to volume and 28% residential installers volume. And you see here that compared to the German installers who basically said 93% of which said they have charging stations, in France, 51% have charging stations in their solutions for electric mobility in their portfolio. The German installers said 62% have heat pumps, here 44%, and smart home is 30%. In Germany, it's also 32-3%, which is more or less in line with France. Now, you see 23% of the French installers said to the manufacturers product innovation and technological advancement and efficiency are extremely important for them. Improved regulations, product quality, and durability is important. Now, I mention all these things because when I get to Poland, I want to draw your attention to something very important. In the case of French installers, it's also interesting for you to know that small modules are asked for, right? So you see there, small modules, large modules are difficult to assemble, right? Again, another concern which is overlapping with the concern of the German installers. Now, in the case of Poland, I will skip this slide. I go here. You see here, again, heat pumps are the ones that they have in their portfolio, charging solutions more or less the same. And then smart home, which is, again, in line with what we have in France and in Germany. But now, what I wanted to draw your attention to is here, right? Look at the 16% the top bar is pricing and affordability, right? Again, very important because many manufacturers, many stakeholders, when they want to go to these markets, they really need to see these idiosyncrasies of different markets. Poland is a price-sensitive market, right? So is Romania, so is Bulgaria. You need to pay attention to the product you want to put in the market. You need to strategize tailored to the needs of that market. And then focus on product, innovation, and efficiency. Again, extremely important. This was also something that this is a topic of today's talk and panel. And you see that here, focus on innovation and efficiency was something that was mentioned among top, basically, assertions of the installers to the manufacturers in France, Germany, and Poland all together. Again, I mentioned here they're too expensive at the moment. You see here also lower energy storage prices since they are too expensive at the moment. You see here, right? So again, price is important not just for PV, but storage in Poland. Again, during the panel, I'd like to talk about that as well when we have the chance. Now, I think I'm quite, yeah, I have 1 minute, so I will be quick here. Now, if I want to conclude, there are some notes here that are extremely important. The ones in blue are the general notes. The ones in gray or black are the ones that are something to do with, the residential and the steps that needs to be taken to unfold more residential and CNI, PV and storage. So market intelligence, obviously, very, very important. Stakeholders need to diversify their market presence when they can. I've been talking to some stakeholders for the last 2-3 weeks. They have tip-top, perfect products, engineered perfectly. How can I put it? Magnificent products. They've been focused in some certain markets so far. And once these markets are going down, they're losing their business, and now they're super stressed. They want to know which other markets to go to, and sometimes it's really stressful, and sometimes it's late for them. So it's always good to check all these markets, diversify your market presence. Segmental diversification is obviously also extremely important, right? Again, the good old expression of not putting all your eggs in one basket. Understanding the net benefit of the market is also very, very important. All to me, right? And I think to most of you there, the lucrative, the viability, financial viability of all these solutions are important, and it boils down to economic benefit of the storage and PV. So the net benefit is what we calculated in EUPD Research, and that's the LCOE, the electricity tariffs minus the LCOE, which gives you some number, which is a net benefit of individual markets. And I can talk about it later again during the panel as well. Brand promotion is also very important, again, to push for more residential and CNI, because people need to basically go for the brands that are interoperable. that are highly efficient, that are easy to install, perfect after-sales support to the installers, and so on and so forth. And the last notes are also the importance of our R&D. You know, data-wise, the market is getting ferocious. R&D and innovation extremely important. The stakeholders need to establish the right connections or contacts to the installers. Of course, if they have trusted installers, presumers will go to the same ones, highly likely to go to the same installers for other products. And of course, understand the installers' requirements and important, and focus on the interoperability and intersegmentality of your product, which is extremely important. Now, on that note, I think I'm 3 minutes, beyond the time that I had. Thank you very much for your attention. I will be looking forward to our talk later. If you had any questions, please shoot me an email or write to me on LinkedIn. And again, thanks a lot, Michael and TaiyangNews, especially Santuki, your colleagues, Michael, who've done all the coordinations and the rest. Thanks. Back to you, Michael.
Thanks, Ali. Great overview. Really interesting also to see that while companies are really pushing bigger and bigger modules into the market for the recent years, installers are actually preferring something different. Okay, so if anyone has questions, please use the chat. Ali is an open book and it's for free for the next 3 hours. Usually I have to pay for that, so make use of that opportunity. While we continue with the conference.